Once again to the show, the Football Fans Attack live on Planet Radio 101.1 FM. We are here every day, Mondays all the way to Fridays, 3 to 4 p.m., talking football. Well, UT, traditionally, we now start with the Akwa State Governors Cup. Take us through the result today's games so far.
Nsirubium played against Etinan earlier today.
You should start with Mparinin.
Nsirubium defeated Etinan. Nsirubium defeated Etinan by 3 goals to nothing earlier today. Uruganam played out a 1-1 draw with Ini local government area, while Udwan played out a 1-1 draw as well with Uyo. Ibno got the better of Urufong Oruko by 2 goals to 1. We also saw back defeating Okanafon by 1 goal to nothing, while Mparinin got the better of Okobo by 4 resounding victory. That's 4 goals to nothing.
You're doing well, my brother. That's a fine thing. Well, of course, congrats to Mparinin for that particular victory. Well, let's look at yesterday's games. And yesterday, kids rather lost to now by a goal to the Likorabasi. Defeated Mo by 2 goals to 1. Istanbul lost to Dongoko by 2 goals to 1. But the game involving Indiana Bodokada had to be rescheduled. And of course, that's the story. Well, it's getting in quite interestingly, and we'll talk about the stories as they come in. By the way, there was a walkover today. UT Nsurubium had a walkover against Tinan, and of course, Tinan failed to turn up. And sadly, they've not recorded any single victory.
Yeah,
so far so good in this competition.
Side, no points.
That's William Trostekong's local government area.
No points, no goal.
Crazy stuff. All right, so let's move on from there to the Nigerian Premier Football League. Match Day 2 was upon us over the weekend, and it was quite a story. Let's start with Saturday's games. First of all, well, Duma United defeated Bayelsa United by 2 goals to 0. Bender Insurance got the better of Shooting Stars 2-1. 2-0 rather. Kano Pillars defeated Katsina United by a goal to 0. Well, on Sunday, we saw Akwa United play a goalless draw against Sporting Lagos at the Nestle Champions. Gombe United defeating Ayimba would be one of the key talking points for the show today. Luby Stars 3-2 against Sunshine Stars. Niger Tornadoes will go 2-0 against Rivers United. Remo Stars in a clash of the NPFL's biggest eggheads. We're talking Fidelis Lechuku and Benga or Gumodede Jabo. Well, Remo Stars were the better team at the end of the day, 2-1. Kwara United defeated Abia Warriors by a goal to 0. Plateau United defeated Hotland by a goal 2-0. Well, we have to start with the one that concerns us, Akwa United. UT, well, first game, 3 goals to score against Bayelsa United. Conceded 5 at the end of the day, but there was a positive that they can score goals. And we were looking forward to seeing what they do against Sporting Lagos. But they played out a goalless draw. You saw the game yourself. Talk to us about the fine details that define the result of this game at the end of the night.
I think some level of Fataisho rather, after the game said that the attackers let them down, and it certainly shows you that they had a couple of chances where they would have scored goals at the Nest of Champions against Sporting Lagos, but they couldn't just do it. I mean, you went away from home, scored 3 goals away from the home, and much was expected that you do same, particularly at home. I think the defensive frailties we saw in the first game against Bayelsa United, we didn't really see it at the Nest of Champions. They actually, controlled the game a lot more cleaner. But offensively, they couldn't just do enough, to score the Sporting Lagos side. And I think it's quite concerning because when you start having, some level of inconsistency in your goals return, and it's quite problematic because at some point, when your defense is quite solid enough and you're not scoring goals, it definitely means you can't win points. So at this point, I think that particular squad is still, trying to find their footing, trying to play as a team, basically moving forward. And I'm particularly concerned because you can't have this level of inconsistency. We never know what happens in the next game. They may just likely concede and not score. They can actually score and be outscored. So at this point, for Tayoshu, he needs to fix these attackers. They have to find a way to score goals, and they also have to find a way to block the scores coming in.
What went wrong yesterday for Akwa United, Blyden?
Well, Mary, for me, I think we're getting to that point where lots of demands are up there for Akwa United, but we're going through the process because you look at a coach relatively with some new players.
Yeah.
Adaptation.
This is basically like the
second official game in terms of the Nigerian Premier League.
Yeah.
I think in the nearest future we'll have better performance, but I think it was a solid performance against the Sporting Lagos side. We saw how they were quite good in the first leg. We saw during the pre-tournament side competition that took place. They won it, beating top side, beating Akwa United and Yimba, the very best of teams in the Nigerian Premier Football League. But quite disappointing from a Akwa United point of view, because at least you want to get a win at home. It never happened, especially when the game is a barren goal. And quite disappointing, again with different disparity, because we saw the previous game against Burnley United. They banged 3 goals away from home, despite losing 5-3 to Burnley United. And back home now, many expected at least some of these guys to come up clutch and score those goals. It never happened. But I think the bulk of praise goes to Sporting Lagos being able to resist Akwa United away from home. Akwa United are top side, one way or the other. Fantastic game it was, but I think the build-up continues. Match day 2, looking forward to match day 3.
Match day 3. Now, UT, well, when the man came in, he talked about winning the league, or at least getting continental berth for Akwa United. Well, 2 games in, 1 draw, 1 loss. That ambition still on course?
It doesn't. The recent result doesn't really set the templates for what we should be expecting before the end of the season. I think it's still pretty much early. The season is still at the infant stage, basically. So we're still expecting lots of games and lots of matches. Particularly the standings in the table this particular time doesn't define what would be at the end of the season. But then you should also show some level of seriousness in terms of trying to gather points and results quite early. But I think the ambition for Fatah Show, and of course the team is still quite, so we never know what happens in the next 4 games. We may just likely see the fortunes of Akwa United changing. So I still believe that they are on course to, of course, gain whatever ambition they have for the season.
For me, it shows a big work for them to do moving forward, especially the coach Fatah Show. It's a huge work for him to do. The numbers are not coming as fast as possible.
Now, no intent to coach you short, Blighted. The face Ayimba, March day 3.
Well, that'll be a thrilling part.
Ayimba not good either.
In 2 days' time.
Well, you can't just say Ayimba not good. It was the first game away from home. The second game. And
it was their first game of the season as well.
The first game of the season also. Ayimba, top side, the demands and the pressure are high there, especially when they face a team like Akwa United. Don't want to start well, get a good result. But for me, I think not just about the Ayimba game is a top game. If they pull a draw out of it, then that's something to look forward to, especially if they're playing away. But look, Omari, the pointer is this. It's not going to be easy for Akwa United and Fatah. I'm talking about our relationship now, because the pressure is building up. When he came on board, many fans thought it was going to be an easy sell for him. New players have joined the side, and the direction is set. We want to get back to that position where we won the league and be an influence and probably qualify for CAF competition. Can it happen? Will it not happen? I do not know. But the projection right now shows lots of work is needed to be done in that team, with Fatah running the pack at the moment. The next few games are quite important for him, and get a good result. You never can tell. It builds the momentum.
Well, let's talk about other games you saw over the weekend as well. Let's look at the Yimba Football Club. Top team, Gombe United, got the better of them by 2-0. UT, did you see that coming?
I didn't see it coming because Gombe fell to Sporting Lagos in the first game. So basically on Monday. So I was expecting Yimba should do some, go away from home and thrash them. But I think I will also cut them some slack. It is their first game of the season, basically. And at some point, you see, some of these big teams are starting quite not impressive enough in their very first game of the season. So we still have other games to come for Yimba International. I think what even gives them a lot more edge than other teams is that there are no really continental assignments. So they have to focus on the league and play a lot better, which I think the results will improve as the season advances as well.
Remo Stars against Enugu Rangers blighted. Remo Stars, the first game of the season. Enugu Rangers coached by Fidelis Lechuku. There's a lot to expect from the side because of the coach of the side. But Enugu Rangers put themselves in front. Remo Stars came back and got the victory in Ikene yesterday.
Well, always going to be a tough game in Ikene, a fortress of some sort of recent times when it has to do with Remo Stars. And Remo Stars, if you look by last season and performance in CAF competition, you know that they're top side, one way or the other. And Rangers, they're going through that resurgence, trying to come back, be another top side, former champions in show class and dominance. With Ilechuku joining the side, many expect things to change and the demands are coming in. But against Remo Stars at Ikene, you always expect Remo to come up close.
All right, well, things are quite different from what we saw on match day 1. After 9 wins and a draw in match day 2, Sporting Lagos sit top with 4 points from 2 games. Lobby Stars second, 4 points from 2 games. Bendel Insurance third, 3 points. Duma United fourth, 3 points. Remo Stars fifth, 3 points. Bayelsa United sixth, 3 points. Enugu Rangers seventh, 3 points. Sunshine Stars, Gombe United, Plateau United, Kano Pillars, Abia Warriors, Katsina United, Kwara United, and Niger Tornadoes, Shooting Stars, all on 3 points. Well, in 17th position, that's relegation waters. Heartland, 1 point. Akwa United, 18, 1 point. Rivers United, 19, no point. Imba 20, no points. Rivers United, the pride of Rivers City, they lost away from home yesterday to Niger Tornadoes. Well, people say they've been, in your words, the busiest Nigerian team so far, so you cut them some slack, right?
Absolutely. Is this their first game too? They made it a quite resounding.
So you cut Rivers some slack, then you bash Akwa United.
Akwa United, come on, this is their second game. So, and not just away from home, it was at home. So 3 points was actually expected from them. For Rivers United, it is just their first game. Basically, we will see them come up clutch. They're a top side, the only Nigerian representative on continental football. So it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to see how Stanley Guma can actually go further this season.
Well, I wouldn't want to cut them some slacks. They've performed quite well, played in the CAF Confederations Cup. So in terms of fitness level, I think they're fit comparatively with the rest in Nigeria and the Nigerian Premier League. And playing against Niger Tornadoes is not the biggest of sides. At least I expected Rivers United to draw in that game. It never happened. But in the Premier League, yes, you can see it's a fast. Let's see how it pans out in the second. But they should have gotten a draw in that game.
Well, match day 3 starting Wednesday. Comes up on Wednesday, as a matter of fact, by Yelsa United taking Remo Stars. Sunshine Stars against Heartland, Shooting Stars against Gombe United, Katina United taking Lobby Stars, Burnley Insurance, Plateau United, Sporting Lagos welcome Doma United to Lagos, Ayimba welcome Akwa United, top game on Wednesday, Abia Warriors against Kano Pillars, and Enugu Rangers taking Niger Tornadoes. Wish for the very best for our promise keepers. They bounce back and show some consistency in Blighters Ward's class and dominance. And talk about things happening in the glass house. Well, it's a story. The update coming from the camp of the Super Eagles indicates that another change has been made to the list of invited players due to injury. Well, due to injury, the duo of Taron Ebohi and Sadiq Umar were invited in place of Ola Aino and Tiawa Woniyi, both of Nottingham Forest. The coach of the team, Jose Pesero, was invited Boavista defender Wazim Chidozie in position of Cardiff City player Jamilu Collins, who is also out due to injury. Collins has recovered and returned to action, but after spending 8 months in the treatment room, and the man is said to be out. Well, of all the names, UT Sadiq Umar had a lengthy hiatus from football due to that crazy knee problem. Came back for Sociedad, so far so good. Has he scored any goal yet?
No, I've not seen him score.
Return to the national team right now. Good for the man after that African performance.
Absolutely. And of course, he may just bring the confidence of the man back. I think he's doing quite a well. We saw him with the national team. This is a friendly match, basically. So another chance for, bulk of the fringe players to build their momentum, build their confidence with the national team. So it's another chance for him to be tested and positively going forward. I just feel he can actually do a lot better with this chance being given.
All right, Joe, that's the story from there. Let's talk about the Olympic qualification tournament. The NFF technical committee who are responsible for this list have called up players for the Super Falcons squad, and of course it's a story. Let's look at the list of players scored up for this particular qualification series. Ethiopia. Former England under-20 forward Rishola Babajide was included in the squad after FIFA approved the association change from England to Nigeria. Babajide was a member of the England team that got bronze medal at the 2018 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. She plays in the Liga F side, Tenerife in Spain. The roster also includes Michelle Alozie, Nicole Payne, Tony Payne, Asisa Toshola, Chamakan Nadozie. Ethiopia will host the first leg in Addis Ababa on Wednesday, 25th October, before the second leg is scheduled to come up in Nigeria on Tuesday, October 31st, 2023 rather. Ethiopia advanced to this round by eliminating Chad, while Nigeria received the bye after putting up a fine performance at the FIFA Women's World Cup. For the full list, the goalkeepers include Chamaka Nadozie, Tochiko Luehi, and Monleo Yono. For the defenders, Utoki Nosina Chiohale, Comfort Foloruncho, Tosin Demehi, Michelle Alozie, Nico Payne, Jumoki Alani, Rufayati Moran. For the midfielders, Utoki, Halimatu Ayinde, Pisefi, Christu Chebe, Rashida Tajibadi, Tony Payne, and Regina Otu. Forwards, Rachel Babajide, Ifoma Numonu, Oshola Sisat, Uchenna Kanu, Gift Monday, Bayemia Jakaye. Well, the first thing I noticed, UT, is that there was no or no maybe in the national team. It's obviously the beginning of the end.
Absolutely. I expected it even. I never saw making it to, the FIFA World Cup, but it happened that she actually made it too. Getting closer to, the time where she should actually call it shots.
40 plus
on her international career. She didn't really play, games during the FIFA Women's World Cup. So it clearly signals that it's almost the beginning of what should be a new challenge for her, basically. So that's just it. I don't really want to talk about the list, basically. So I'll leave it for Blind because it's more or less a recurring decimal in Nigerian football.
I give it to Blind, and I'll just talk about something else. Forget about what you're just trying to say. Basically, now, the thing is, there's no coach at this point. Around the wardroom and the clash of heads with the NFF, there don't seem to be any tangible result from that story. But at this point, are we going to get a headway before 25th October?
Well, I cannot say, but that's been the direction in recent times. We saw what happened with Jose Pizarro. It was close to the time of qualifiers. They said probably he'll continue to be the coach of the side. And I think it could still be the same story, but quite sad and unprofessional. And what this pictures is that there's usually interference when it has to do with list of players for Nigeria, even though the coach is there. Because you're not supposed to bring out a list without a coach. It doesn't make sense to me. There ought to be a handler who brings out a list of players who participate in games that he'll handle. But in Nigeria, things get to happen differently. But on the overall, you look at the squad. No complete cases from the squad. And many would say they're taking on Ethiopia. We expect Nigeria to beat Ethiopia. Hopefully, Ethiopia didn't withdraw from this one the same way Sao Tome and Principe did.
All right, so that's the story from there. Let's take the first batch, of course, here before we look at the European stories. The Premier League games we saw over the weekend. 0902223 1011 and 0817-624-8565. Good morning. Welcome to the show. First caller. Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, why am I saying good morning by 3:28 p.m.? Hello, welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. This is Edo Junior calling from Abiriba, Abia State.
Oh, that's quite a distance. Well, how is Abia State today?
I'm fine.
Let's go ahead.
Please, I want to find out if Chelsea has won their match on the weekend.
Chelsea scored 4 goals, defeated Burnley 4-1.
That's surprising.
Yes. Congratulations.
It has been a while. Chelsea has not scored that margin of a goal.
My brother.
I really miss you. I really miss you guys since I left Akwa United. So I decided to just hear from you guys.
All right. You can actually track us from Abia State, through the Radio Garden app. Just go to Radio Garden and, of course, search Planet Radio. We're there. Listen to us live.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. 09022.
Mary, good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome.
Mary, Akwa United this midweek. You're sure we play Yimba, but you are going to be alone. I'm not even talking about United in the first place. So Yimba, my team, is going to do the needful. And for this MPFL, all this one, everybody is playing home. See, they believe all this mentality of playing like they are home, you win the game. Go out and play your football well. Your game. Don't be feeling relaxed and when somebody loses away, you'll be congratulating you, say you went away and win.
Right.
It's not making sense. Whether you have played one game or you have played 7 games, you have played nothing. You go away and you show your talent and play your game. That's every time you won't win.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good afternoon, the Marazana.
The Victor.
Yeah, good afternoon. Do you have
UT and Blyden, just go ahead, Victor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good afternoon, Marazana. It was my great weekend this weekend. Let me start at home since we are talking the Nigerian Premier Football League. The match that involved Akwa and Sporting Lagos Maradona. The match in a 0-0 draw yesterday. The match that we really thought that Akwa United, when they lose from Bayelsa and Samba, but the way that Akwa played the tactics, the formation, and the way, because we have talked about the players, particular players that played in 11, is it the right players on that wing? Because the creating of changing to score goals was huge difficult for them. So I really need Akwa United to wake up and see if they can get back to the form and start to win there. And also,
right.
For my weekend, that my Chelsea won their match. I'm happy they have come to the party. Let my to continue that way. That's my thank you for having
Thank you very much for talking to us. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Radio Senator calling for Doro here.
Radio Senator, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Go ahead.
Okay, what I just want to say is that, do you see how they cage Haaland? When we were talking about Haaland, the first time we play Haaland this season, we played in the Community Shield, we hold Haaland. People say that second leg, they will wound us. But at the end of the day, see what happened. Even you can see that Haaland did not even get even one shot, talk less to heading. And that is why I believe that the second leg will still beat Man City. Thank you for having me. For all those who I don't believe in Arsenal. This is it. Arsenal will collect Champions League and EPL. Thank you for having me.
And win the treble too. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Yes, so.
Yes, so this is Fidel again calling.
Welcome.
AK Egbo.
Welcome, Egbon.
All right. You know, me, I'm just happy to say Arsenal just the win.
Abi?
Oh, no. Yeah, so everything I'm just going to say is all corners for all my corner fans.
Congratulations.
Wait for it. So they call me for my theater.
You don't do. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourself, but enjoy responsibly. Good afternoon. Easy.
Thank you. Sport analyst, I am on the line. I want to first of all congratulate Liverpool first and Arsenal. Though I'm not a fan of Arsenal, but let me congratulate them for. I think Arsenal fans should not carry the way. Let me advise them first, because to win City,
Mr. Easy, let the Arsenal fans breathe.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And they should not happy yet, because they have never won the Premier League. Let's remember what transfer last season. And we Liverpool are on course as long as the league is concerned. So Liverpool still a contender for the title. And we also wish to do well in a subsequent games.
Thank you
for having me.
Thank you very much. Well, we're talking Premier League right now, but the tune is going to be Arsenal's Back Where We Belong. That's the anthem we're going to use to talk about the Premier League, because obviously they're back where they belong.
And you need it to be there. So today, again, really proud. I was proud on Wednesday when we lost the game, and I'm really proud today as well to be part of that team.
Was in a little over how many years ago, and the man who scored the only goal of the game that night between Arsenal and City was Mikel Arteta. Came back as a coach yesterday and helped his Arsenal side defeat City by a goal to nil. It was a brilliant story and one that made for so much good reading Well, in case you never knew, Arsenal defeated City yesterday by a goal to nil. Gabriel Martinelli came from the bench and scored in the 86th minute for Arsenal. Well, Bladen will say Kai Havertz had an assist. Oh, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. But then, let's talk about Arsenal. UT. Now, there was so much talk about this game. Arsenal had the absence of Bukayo Saka, and there were concerns about how they'll be able to see off this game without Saka, who's been their key man for 87 games running before yesterday's game. But they found a way around it, defeated the high-flying, great Manchester City.
Arsenal prior to the game, I think I said it on Saturday, that the best time to beat City last weekend was actually, of course, this week, due to the fact that City have been struggling with some reasons, particularly known to Pep Guardiola, and I also saw him coming as well. After the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, it wasn't the same City we've actually seen at the start of the season, basically, and it also proves to show you that the season is still, of course, a very long season, and basically anything can actually change at any time. For Arsenal, they've had a pretty impressive start to the season, and despite Bukayo Saka sitting out, I made mention of the fact that Gabriel Jesus can actually fill that void for him, and he did it pretty well as well. And then at some point, since the game was actually cagey, in the first 70 minutes, I think we had one shot on target for both sides. Mikel Arteta made some fabulous subs that came in and, of course, gave a lot more energy to this Arsenal squad moving forward. Thomas Partey came in, likes of Kai Havertz. They also made changes, and Gabriel Martinelli, the man who scored the winning goal for them as well. So it was quite impressive. But I think I have one thing to talk about this Arsenal side. They were in a similar situation last season. At this stage last season, they were topping Manchester City with 1 point as well. So I don't want Arteta to be carried away with this victory, knowing fully well that the season is still long, and of course we still have much games to go as well.
Well, Blyden, are you surprised that City lost to Arsenal yesterday? They had just 4 shots and just 1 on target, 51% ball possession, 5-1 passes.
Why I'm not surprised? I'm not surprised. Look at it. City has not won a game yet without Rodri. Since Rodri got that red card, they've not won a game without him. The only game they won was in the Champions League. Rodri played. It's been consequential, basically. And it brings back a conversation I always talk about adequate transition. Yes, you take Bernardo Silva to play that position.
Yeah, so yes,
he can give those direct balls. He's basically passing by the side. Because when you're playing that penetrating ball, you have to be ready. In case something happens, you bring resistance to it, and Bernardo doesn't do that. So it was basically about being careful, passing around. But there was a young lad in that team. Yeah, exceptional player.
Yeah.
I think he's one for the future. But for more understanding and all feature, you look at both teams.
Talking creativity, Blinded, basically. Erling Haaland, like people talked about, he was expected to come good in this game, particularly for City. But he barely got balls in, as a matter of fact. Played on 19 minutes. Yeah. Did not get a single quality supply to him.
Yeah. Before I talk about Erling, I didn't fault Erling yesterday.
Right.
He was exceptional playing his game. As a point number 9, he was all out. But married to know how technical the game is. When you play a game and Julian Alvarez had to be substituted out,
you know, it was tough.
I watched the game out. I didn't find Alvarez decent footballer. He can hold on to the ball. He can move. He can score goals. But it was nowhere to be found. Mary, before I talk about Arsenal, let me make the statements. Let's keep it. If injury doesn't come and Arsenal win the league, and Arsenal will beat City again if something still happen. I'm looking at because of Rodri. But he's an exceptional player.
Yeah.
But what I saw yesterday, you could see an Arsenal side with a strength in depth.
Yeah.
Come on, Thomas Partey. The best midfielder, because of Rodri, I wouldn't want to make that statement. But Thomas Partey was absolutely fantastic.
Well,
Mari, come on. Calm down, Mari.
All right,
let me just finish.
All right, Blyden.
Mikel Arteta made 4 subs after Pep Guardiola had made his 3 subs. And that sub countered everything. Immediately when Thomas Partey came in, Man City couldn't cross the middle any longer. He did what the rest of the midfielders couldn't do, putting the ball forward. But this is the beauty of it about the goal. Before the goal entered, all the 4 subs touched the ball.
Oh, Blyden.
All the 4 subs touched the ball that led to the goal.
Let's talk about Mikel Arteta. Let's talk about Arsenal. Well, Mikel Arteta particularly. If there's one manager Arteta has struggled to defeat in his career as an Arsenal manager, it's Pep Guardiola.
Absolutely.
He's defeated 23 teams he's faced over time, and just one was missing. Do you think that Arteta has hacked Pep, and he has now seen the antidote to winning Premier League?
I think it's just about, of course, the template and momentum Arsenal started the season with, basically, and not necessarily, of course, trying to, overpower Pep at this time. I just feel Arsenal are in the best, time. They're in the best form, basically, with the best and crop of players to make, of course, make Arsenal a challenging figure against, Manchester City side. And, of course, we've seen them already this season. So I'm particularly, looking at Arsenal also being a title contender, just like Bladden said. And if anything doesn't go in the wrong direction, they can actually beat Manchester City again.
I don't want to drag this conversation, but how did Arsenal, with Jorginho, dominate that midfield play?
Well, it all started with Jorginho. It shows they've grown. I think this man, Declan Rice, I've not really been.
Declan Rice
I have not really been his fan, but
decent yesterday.
Exceptional.
He's been decent. Even against United, it was decent.
Here's the beauty about this Arsenal side now. Now they've won City. It's like having a mental block. Oh, City is a better side than us. City. This win changes that.
Absolutely.
And now Arsenal can see themselves as even being better than City, and they can win the league.
Oh,
for the first time in 6 years, could be the opportunity to have a new winner of the English Premier League.
Well, they're back where they belong, actually. Congrats to Arsenal. All over the weekend as well. On Sunday, Wolves played 1-1 against Aston Villa, West Ham 2-2 against Newcastle, Brighton 2-2 against Liverpool. That's the game we want to talk about. Blighted. Now, here's the story. Roberto Di Cerbi is the first Premier League manager that Klopp has faced 4 or more times and has failed to defeat. 2 draws, 2 losses at the hands of Roberto Di Cerbi and Brighton, Jurgen Klopp. Now, we were talking about them before this game. High-flying side, yet to be beaten, class and quality over time. But of course, in all of Brighton's frailties, because prior to the game, yesterday, they were struggling. They were still winless though, but they showed class and quality. And how does the Cerbi spring up young stars every single season? I saw names that I couldn't pronounce. Adingra from Ivory Coast, Carlos Baleba from Cameroon. These young stars, how do they get them, Blyden?
Belief. Mary, believe it can be done. It's been done.
Yeah, because
and the structure of the game, it makes sense also.
They're all youngsters. Chelsea signed youngsters. Brighton signed youngsters. But look at the youngsters at Brighton.
Well, I don't want to talk about Chelsea.
All right.
I think the peak of it, yesterday's game, the peak of it was Alisson Becky. That goal he let loose. He came to the edge of almost to the midfield and started the passing. And before you know, interception from Brighton, and they scored. It changed the narrative. But the second goal for Brighton for me, also fantastic. Lots of pressure on Liverpool until Liverpool submitted. And that's it. And the beauty about Brighton for me, they make it a total system. So when you watch Brighton, you know that it's not about individual players. It's not about a big superstar. It's about teamwork. And De Serbi, fantastic manager, I must say. The energy, the antecedents, everything. You could see the focus yesterday against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And typically, Liverpool side, they're not quite defensive side when need be. So when Liverpool can attack you, it's a problem. When you push them to be defensive, it's a problem because they're not built to be defensive. They're more attacking, and that was the reason they lost yesterday.
Well,
sometimes you have to learn to defend.
Basically, 2-2 draw against Brighton at the end of the day. Salah scored. And, of course, it was a beautiful story. While on Saturday, Luton Town lost to Tottenham by a goal in a dramatic game. They had to leave it late. Mickey van der Ven, the difference of the night. Everton defeating Bournemouth 3-0. Fulham 3-1 against Sheffield United. Crystal Palace 2-1 against Brentford. Now 2 games left in that conversation. Burnley lost to Chelsea by 4-1 UT. Raheem Sterling put up a sterling performance at the end of the day. Had a hand in all 4 goals that Chelsea scored. On the night in Chelsea, recording back-to-back goals for the first time since like April or thereabout. That's a lot.
Absolutely. I think Raheem Sterling arguably has been the most criticized player in that Chelsea squad this season.
But he's Chelsea's highest goal scorer. Guess how many goals? 3 goals.
He was absolutely involved in the entire 4 goals Chelsea scored over the weekend. And it certainly shows you that he can actually come up clutch on his good days. I think one of the problems of Raheem Sterling has been consistency, because you basically see, this level of performances every single weekend. He did it quite well last weekend. Can he do it the following weekend? That's another story. And I'm also, quite impressed with, the return of Armando Broja. I think the man is also adding, something quite different. Some would say dynamic to that Chelsea's attack. The man, Nicholas Jackson, came off the bench and also got a goal for Chelsea. And that shows you that it's quite interesting. It looks like the forward line are gradually improving. And we may just likely see the chances and the challenge of this Chelsea side in terms of goal scoring improving as well. So, I think that victory for them on the weekend can actually set the template after the international break for them as well.
I'm not going to take anything away from Chelsea, Blyden. Their last 2 wins have been against Fulham and against Burnley. Their next 7 games, they have games against Arsenal.
Yes.
Right? Brentford, Tottenham, Man City, Newcastle, Brighton, Manchester United. How many points can they get?
Well, I can say how many points they'll get, but they'll definitely not lose all of them. Probably they'll pull some draws and get to win some. But let me say something about Raheem Sterling. I criticize him a lot. Because when I look at that setup, he's the most senior player up front.
Experience.
So he's supposed to come up clutch. An English international, and many people get to talk about him. The last game I really saw Raheem Sterling perform was against Luton. After that, it's Burnley. Look at the standings, low teams. So the problem isn't about that game. Congratulations, he's performed quite well. I want to see him, as UT talked about, performing other big games, the humongous numbers of games coming, and top game. I want to see Raheem perform. But let me add this particular controversial conversation, because when we say these things, people don't get to take it seriously, but it's happening. Pochettino, listen to the structure we talked about for the midfield, and it's working out right now. Can it continue to work out? Time will tell. Bringing Caicedo in the middle and Enzo Fernandez instead of putting Enzo up front. And it goes on to bring the conversation. Sometimes the biggest problem of a team are minor things that a coach can see, not necessarily the player. I can guarantee anybody, if Conor Gallagher was still inside that middle, Chelsea wouldn't be winning games.
But that's a conversation. Now, UT, as I said, it's Fulham and Burnley that have won the last 2 games, as a matter of fact. They face Arsenal, this Arsenal side. They face Tottenham. They face Man United. They face Man City. They face Newcastle. They face Brighton. These are games that will test the quality. How much of a test would it be for Chelsea?
It should be a reality check for them, because basically those are top sides. Sides that finished in the top 9 in the Premier League table last season. So it certainly shows you the quality in gap between them and Chelsea as well. But I think the 2 wins they've actually had in the Premier League, their last 2 wins, can actually up the momentum and the mojo of the side moving forward. I can say how many points they can actually get from those top club sides and top fixtures. But I can say from the 2 wins, and of course the positive performance we've actually seen from these players, I guarantee you, Chelsea might not necessarily lose all those games. They can actually gather, points as well.
Scott Francis McTominay, Blyden. We're moving on.
Please, let me just add something on the Chelsea game before we move on.
All right, go ahead.
Here's the conversation. Chelsea is a tricky side now, because you look at them, they don't seem very strong. On the other hand, you underrate Chelsea at your own peril right now, because
Chelsea at another level right now?
No, not necessarily, you might say, but you don't know what you are going to get. It's as if they're not playing, but they're scoring goals. That's the same thing we said about Fulham. Fulham thought they were going to beat Chelsea. Finally, boom. Burnley yesterday gave a good account, but 4 goals. And you look at it, not like they're very organized while they're scoring these goals. So for Arsenal, they could see shockers. I'm telling you, it's still Chelsea they're playing, despite the fact that it's not really work out. I hear a lot of Arsenal fans say, come October 21st, we're going to destroy Chelsea. If Arteta thinks that way, then he might have the shock of his life.
They should underrate Chelsea at this time, basically.
All right. Chelsea are now giant killers. Interesting. Fulham and Burnley. Oh, Scott Francis McTominay, that's his name, scored twice in stoppage time as Man United came from behind to defeat Brentford in a sensational Premier League victory yesterday. Now, it was all already a settled story. United would record another loss, as a matter of fact, and the pressure piling up on Eric Ten Hag. But Scott came in, the unlikeliest of goal scorers. Scored 3 times, 1 was rolled off or offside.
Yeah.
But talk to us about Scott McTominay, UT, and what exactly did he bring into that United game last night?
I think a different dynamic in the attack. I think we've talked about this over time. I said at the younger stage, Scott McTominay was actually an attacker. And we've seen that glimpse of brilliance, particularly with the Scottish national team. He's been quite effective. The scoring goes left, right, centre whenever he represents, Scotland. But coming back to Manchester United, you see him whenever he's drafted to a deeper role, he has appalling performances, and it's not really good for him, basically. So the performance over the weekend further, shows you that Scott McTominay still have, that threat in terms of goal scoring. opening chances for them as well. And it was quite important because Erik ten Hag introduced him at a very vital stage and critical point where Manchester United needed that much victory. I think at the point I already gave it to Brentford because of the kind of performance that was seen from them as well, trying to push Manchester United to their own edge, asking bulk of the questions. I think the recent substitution of Marcus Rashford, bringing in Alejandro Garnacho, of course, added some depth in terms of, supplies for the Manchester United forward. And it actually paid off. Harry Maguire had one of his best games, particularly this season. He had a hand in the game, in the goal rather. The second goal, Scott McTominay scored. So I think for United, it's just about, getting these right players. I've already said it over time. You can't keep playing a player who has been underperforming. And that has been Marcus Rashford and Andrew Onana. I mean, we've got quality legs who can actually represent them, allow these players some time on the bench, and see them come back and play better.
Blyden spent hundreds of millions of pounds signing players, foreign-based players, English players, but it took a young homegrown star from Carrington
making the second striker
to give United to give United the victory yesterday.
Well, first of all, I do not think he can play as a second striker. That will be a Herculean task for him moving forward. But on the other hand, I know where he started, especially under Jose Mourinho. He was more of an attacking midfielder. But because he's built the physicality, just like Conor Gallagher, I think it's the same situation. They drafted him backward at the time. Manchester United never had defensive midfield. But beyond that, I think he had and a fantastic moment, and it beckons on the coach now to give him chance to play. Maybe not start game, but get to introduce him into games as early as possible, because it can't change game for him. Because when a player plays and performs that magic for you, then it changes the narrative, also helps him. But before you get to talk further, let me say this now. When I watched that game, Manchester United, I think Manchester United's struggle is over now. The reason I'm saying that is, remember, when Anthony Dos Santos left the side, I said, Manchester United are going to struggle. And the reason Rashford has not been able to score a goal, because there's been not enough distraction for him. I think now that Anthony Dos Santos is back to the side, I'll begin to see improved performance from Manchester United moving forward. But Erik ten Hag, if I were Erik ten Hag, I'll go give Scott McTominay 2 handshakes. You know why? Because that man somehow
saved his socks.
He helped him so far. Because the pressure could have been at another level. And who knows, if it continued the next game, maybe we would have another managerial casualty after Sevilla's coach was sacked.
All right, 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. Let's take the next batch of calls. You two will take us to Facebook right now. Hello, good afternoon. Call us on the line. Hello. Yes. Yes, welcome.
I don't know why Arsenal fans are talking like this. Someone has been beating you for the past 6-7 years, and it just be the best 1-0 yesterday, and you're like, you're going to carry the league. They should just calm down. You're going to win league and Champions League. They should just calm their nerves down. And since they are not in their best form, and they should just take this easy. People will still come back and beat them again. So for my team United, Erik ten Hag, we are seeing improvement is still ongoing. They should try more to improve in attacking and defensive position. So I want Erik ten Hag to put Onana on the bench in their next game, please.
All right.
This international window that is coming, I want him to use it and exaggerate himself. Please, there's one update that's going on between Davido and this man, our former NFL president.
Let's talk football. When we finish, we'll talk about who's owing who $94,600. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon on the line.
Go ahead.
Yes, let me talk about Arsenal and Manchester City game. I thought this afternoon that Manchester City have won only 53% of their game without Rodri, and about 78 to 79% with Rodri. There was no Rodri. Kovacic to replace Gundogan. Haaland was not to be found in that game. Arsenal was dominating every part of the game, and Arsenal fans are saying they are going to win the league. They should calm down, please. Congratulations to them, no doubt about it. For my team Chelsea, I believe in multiple Pochettino. Moving forward, the boys are improving week in, week out. They are recovering players from injury.
Right.
Let's see what you happen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Something happened in the Serie A over the weekend, Blyden. First of all, Roma 4 against Cagliari. Romelu Lukaku, like 7 goals right now already for AS Roma. That's, yeah, we'll have to check that out, but